We are once again convening on our yearly council of my favorite people on campus, our career tech instructors, and we've got a couple new people with us this year. Adam Martin, you are Navigator, right?
Yes, CTE Navigator for all MACTech programs as well as criminal justice.
And then James Whaley, also joining us this year in the auto tech area. You want to say hi to the
Hello, everybody.
to the 11 people that are going to listen? No, we get a little bit of traction, but it's for those people that are interested in the programs. It's nice to kind of get to know people on a more human level. So we got 3 returning. You were here last time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Eric? Yeah. So Eric Shelton was here last time. You want to tell us what division you're in?
Yeah, so I work a lot with the industrial technology programs. So my main focus is on engineering technology, which encompasses manufacturing and drafting and design. But I also teach the machine tool program and some of the electrical program classes and the automation classes.
Okay, great. Another returning superstar, Nathan Ellett. You want to say hi and tell us what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm the welding instructor, so teaching the welding class, and I also do some customized training.
Okay, is it like one-on-one kinds of things, or?
The customized trainings typically it's going to be for industry.
Oh, I see.
Some of the local mines and other companies that just want their welders trained.
Gotcha.
So
That
do
makes
some of
sense.
that too.
So that's through our workforce development office.
Yeah, workforce development.
Yeah,
Yes.
we do that with our industrial programs too.
Yeah, workforce development offices are in the ITC building. Now, Welding, and then Jason Church, who's not with us, he's HVAC. You guys are kind of right next door in the 2 sort of original buildings. And then the ITC, which is 50 yards away, workforce development. So you're doing, I know that the building itself, we were trying to make it so that companies could use the space for training. So you're doing that kind of thing for local
Sure.
businesses.
And our facility recently got accredited. I think that's probably been since the last time we talked. So the American Welding Society, we're accredited testing facility for them now, which means for us, for the community and the students, that they have opportunity to take real legitimate certification tests.
Nice. That sounds like a pretty big deal.
It is. There's only 4 in the state.
Oh, wow. Great.
Yeah. We're the only one within 5 hours.
Wow.
That's really good. And then last but certainly not least, Bryan Hicklin recently got promoted to deputy sheriff of the ITC or something similar. Division chair now, but
Yep.
you're still in construction.
Yep. Construction, building technology is my program, but I typically tell everyone that it's carpentry specific. So
Carpentry specific.
Carpentry specific, yep.
Last year, you and some students put together, in this office, we've got a new photo wall where we do all of our athletes, headshots for employees. So that's been a huge help. And I know that you've done some other projects on campus. I think one of the first ones was is it a storage building behind the early learning?
Yeah, our first significant project, Brandon, was a 16-foot by 24-foot shed for the Early Learning Academy. And right now, at this time, we're building a little bit bigger shed of the same style. It's a 20-foot by 40-foot shed for storage for the dorm facility.
Oh, okay.
So Eric and I believe maybe a few of his students actually drew up a set of plans, and my construction students and I are building it.
Nice. Are you guys using like AutoCAD or design software similar?
Yeah, we use several different programs. So AutoCAD is our main, I won't say our main, our introductory CAD program that they learn on. And then they'll focus on 3D modeling after that, and we use SolidWorks, Inventor. Inventor is from the same company as AutoCAD, so they work well together. And then for machine tool, we'll also use Mastercam. And then for any architectural students, we'll use a program called Revit, which is also owned by the same company that owns AutoCAD.
Okay.
So,
So you, your students came up with the plans, you guys integrate those. Now the bays that we have are large enough. Were you like roughing out the frames and stuff inside?
That's a good question. No, this one, because of its size, we're deciding to build it on site.
Okay.
Whereas last year, we had plenty of time to prepare. We actually built walls for the softball training facility. And because we started that work in the rough time of the year, in the middle of winter, we were able to prefab walls that we could walk out the back door.
Nice.
So we do a little bit of both, just depends on the project, really.
Yeah, sure. The collaboration is something we talked about last time too, with HVAC and welding. You guys are going to run some cooling
Yeah.
pipes.
I think the plan is for HVAC to put air conditioning in both of our buildings.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was it? Were you looking at running like individual for the welding?
We discussed that, and that's one of the options we're looking at is to put a drop basically in every welding booth, so it's cold air is pumping straight into every welding booth instead of trying to condition the entire shop.
All right, very cool. Yeah, I know that was in the works last time we talked. There's probably not been any traction on this, but I had recommended a 10 to 20 foot tall metal Kirby that breathes fire. We could set out by the highway or something. But
I'll weld it together, Eric. You,
Yeah.
you get the pieces
You
cut
guys
out.
come up with it.
we can do it. It might take a while, but we can do it.
James, you guys have had a ton of stuff going on in the auto tech area. Do you want to kind of recap your experiences or what you've got going on over there?
Well, recently we was able to, because of the donations of the community, we was able to give away a car. Got a little Toyota come in 2015 that was a good little car. Needed some work, some suspension work and some transmission work, and got it knocked out and was able to donate it to a lucky student in the nursing program. That was a exciting time.
Yeah, and so then your students, do they do like the entire work over of the vehicle? Are they trained in every aspect, or?
So whenever a student finishes the first semester, their minimum standard is to be able to do anything that general service tech can do, which is like a plaza tire or a discount tire. So any kind of suspension work, any kind of alignments, tires, multi-point inspections, and oil changes. That is the minimum. Now that being said, we also had several motors out. We had several transmissions out. I had one of the students rebuild a transmission, had some timing chains put on, and that kind of thing. So if the student is wanting to excel, we're going to let them excel. We're going to let them accelerate as hard as they can, and they don't have to need to know how to do it. I just need them to want to do it, and I can point them in the right direction and try to keep them from hitting stuff.
Yeah. I've been over there once or twice to take some photos and videos, and I remember a couple of the guys were struggling to get a bolt off or something, and you're like, oh, you just got to use like long leverage, like extend the fulcrum or whatever. My weights and balances is not clicking in, but they're like, oh wow, it's like, yeah, you just got to get farther away and the torque on it or whatever. So, when I was still teaching in the classroom, one of my mentors was like, as long as you know just a little bit more than they do, you'll be okay. Just be a chapter ahead. So, yeah, that's very cool that the students are working on the vehicles. And I was there during the giveaway, and that was a pretty cool thing. So Adam, as a navigator, do you try to steer students away from some of these guys? Like, oh, you don't want any part of this dance class.
No, I'm in my element here. I mean, my background is in tech and product development, and I just have a great relationship with everybody, and I understand kind of how all these programs are interconnected in some form or another. And it's just neat to talk to the students and just find out what interests them, because we've all been that creative individual who just wants to learn skills to apply and make cool things.
Yeah.
You know, get paid for it, right? So.
Now, is it different to try to recruit? You know, generally you think of like university, it's either you're kind of coming into it taking all sorts of random classes, or your typical, you know, default business or things like that. But this is kind of, at least in my sort of background, college wasn't something necessarily associated with construction and welding. Is it, my guess is that it's a really cool way to be able to go after high school students or other people who may not make that association, like, oh, I didn't know that I could get, you know, formal training in this. How's the recruiting or talking to like high school students going for you?
It's surprising to some students, but it's also fairly easy because I'm finding out, I've been doing a lot of outreach and visiting a lot of local high schools and career centers, that they have those opportunities already through local career centers, but they didn't know that those opportunities were available through an institution like MAC, where they can not only earn a certificate, but also an Associate of Applied Science degree within most of these subject areas. So, you know, they learn the applied skills of the theory, but then they also get the general studies courses to back it up, to go into like leadership roles or possibly continue on to a four-year institution.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's, you know, I mean, just kind of referring back to what you said about when you were in school, like I was in junior college at a time where they were tearing down a lot of these programs, unfortunately, because there wasn't the funding, and now it's great to see an influx of community and grant funding building up these programs, and quite frankly, the interest in the enrollment is exceeding expectations. The demand is growing beyond our resources, and we're trying to grow accordingly to accommodate that.
Well, and yeah, for students that are interested, the class sizes are still relatively small. So you're not going to be coming into, you know, an 80-person room and getting lost in the shuffle. So if you are part of one of these classes, I mean, you're right in the thick of things. And now I know last time we talked, kind of developing your classes and your curriculum. What are some things that you've changed or modified, or if you have plans for the future, like, okay, we got through this semester and I learned that this isn't going to work, but we're going to shift to something different. I know, Bryan, you talked about you're constantly thinking about, oh, I can do this different, or we can, you know, adjust this. Can any of you speak to things that you're changing or tinkering with as an instructor?
My first change, and I saw it coming even before I started here, is moving more away from theory-based learning and classroom learning into project-based program. My vision was to have them do projects, you know, with their hands on and off the campus in the shop. But with my students, when they come to me, I mean, I give them just the minimum amount of classroom time that we need and evolve out to the shop. I'm just a huge advocate for working with your hands, and that's just a change that I've constantly had to make. It's in my area, it's real easy to lose students with not enough shop time.
Yeah,
because
sure.
that's what they come for. When I go around the classroom and ask every single one of my students why they're there, they say, I can't sit in a classroom, I have to work with my hands. So it's just a constant evolution, but one that I've seen that change that I needed to make.
Well, and all of the facilities have like an attached classroom to the workspace. Is that true over for auto tech as well?
It is.
Okay.
It is, yeah. We actually have a classroom. We don't spend a whole lot of time in the classroom. We spend 30, 45 minutes. Whenever the weakest student starts dozing, that's when
It's time to go to the shop.
it's time to button it up, you know.
I'd be curious if, you know, you tend to think we do the classroom stuff before, but I'm interested to know, once you've got them doing stuff hands-on, you're noticing the mistakes. If you go back and say, all right, let's evaluate what happened, why did this not work, if that's ever the case where you sort of revert to, hey, let's get together and go through these issues.
So we do a kind of like a case study whenever something happens, and it happens a lot. And my first question is to the students is, what are we here to do? And all of them know at this point, we're here to learn. So we're going to learn from our mistakes. Hopefully we can learn from other people's mistakes as well as our own. And whenever that bolt breaks, why did it break? Why did that part break? Why was that car not put in time correctly? We're not tearing anybody down at all. Not even funny, not even just joking around. We
Sure.
won't tear them down, but we do try to learn from each other's mistakes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, I know for sure with both of yours, there's a huge collaborative element. I don't know if welding's a little more individual.
Yeah, the skill set is individual. Probably not much different than being a mechanic or a carpenter. There's group activities, like when you're fabricating something, to be several people working together. But then you have that aspect where it is solely on you. Like, nobody can weld for you. Like, nobody
Yep.
can hammer nails
Yep.
for you,
Yep.
And then what about for the design process? Do you try to encourage them to work as groups or teams?
I do. So, for one thing, I do encourage them to rely on each other for help when they can. I mean, you have a class of 15 to 20 students, and several people need help. I can't help all of them at one time. So, I do rely on other students to help when it's necessary. I think one of the things that over the years I figured out is it is important for the students to have hands-on time, whether it's at the computer, whether it's in the shop, applying what they know. I quickly figured out that it's easy to assume that when a student comes out of high school, they've got the base set of knowledge that they need to start and jump in the program. And in a lot of cases, that's not true. Using a ruler, knowing how to read a ruler. I think that is a big thing. But along with that, most of these tech programs, if not all of them, do require a certain level of math. And so I will spend a lot of time, I won't say a lot of time, I spend an adequate amount of time going over the types of math problems that they will need whenever they are actually performing the task that they need to perform. And a lot of them don't expect that they're going to be doing that. They're, in the manufacturing and design drafting programs as well, and machine tool. It's like, let's get in the shop, let's do something. I'm like, oh, can you go out there right now and run that machine?
Yeah.
Or is there something you need to learn first? And so everything that I do, whether it's touching up on math or just basic knowledge, everything I do, I try to relate back to what it has to do with that class or with their degree. I make sure they understand what it is they're learning and why they're learning it. So there will be everything that I talk about, I will either relate it back to personal experience whenever I was working as a professional, and how I understood it and how I dealt with it, or our industry partners and the things that they tell us is happening in the field. I will, tell those stories and anecdotes to the students so they understand, oh, they really do that out there? Yeah, they do. They use that. They do that. So.
And we're talking about fabrication. Do you guys have a laser cutter or a water jet cutter?
Yeah, we have all kinds of fun toys.
All sorts of toys.
So we do have a laser. It engraves and cuts. It's a CO2 laser. So the cutting that it does it is not on hard materials. Like, I can't cut metal with the laser, but I can cut woods, plastics, leather, different types of fabrics.
So you can embroider your initials in all your clothes.
I can.
So you
As a
know-
matter of fact,
remember that they're yours.
so the Mac Foundation has an annual golf tournament
Mhm.
as a fundraiser, and they approached me, and so we have a nice little gift that they asked me to engrave for them, and so
Nice.
it's got a nice Mac logo on it and everything. But we also have the water jet. We have a plasma table and we have a water jet. I'm really excited about the water jet. I mean, for different reasons. Every time someone walks into the shop, a student, a parent, someone from the community,
It's impressive.
Yeah, they're like, oh my gosh, you got one of those. Wow, that looks awesome. And so we're proud to have stuff like that. I mean, that was one of my main goals whenever the ITC was being planned. My goal was to make sure that if there's something in industry that's being used, something that there's a need for, I made sure that I had the means to be able to provide that for my students.
Yeah.
Talking with some of our industry partners, plasma tables, water jet tables, those types of things were things that our industry partners were having a difficult time finding people to be able to run those.
With experience on those
Yeah.
machines, yeah.
I had a company from St. Louis came in. I think they probably talked to, I think they hired several of your students. What's their Continental or something?
Oh, yeah, they worked a few of my students over.
Yeah.
excuse
And they
me,
said,
over
if you have
break.
someone that can run a water jet or a plasma table, I'll hire them today. They couldn't find them.
Yeah.
So I made sure that was on my list to make sure my students have those skills.
Yeah, for sure. That's great. I was thinking, we were talking before this about taking a break, and I know you still have the hockey sticks over in your.
Yeah,
For
I sure do.
If you need to take a quick break,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, you remember the old Clerks when they play on the roof of the convenience
Mhm.
store.
Yep.
I don't know what else to talk about. Usually I would make fun of Klussmeyer, but he's not here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no Chris. He was
and
here
it's
last
always-
year.
It's more fun when he's, when you can say it to his face.
I'll add something.
Yeah, sure.
We have another new faculty member, Ryan Grass. He's since Chris is not here, he does strictly workforce development now. So he stepped
Oh,
away
okay.
from the classroom. He does customized industry training. So to fill his spot, we hired Ryan Grass, and Ryan owns his own fiber optic company. And when we started adding new programs, a fiber optic technician program was one of the things we were looking at. And when we found Ryan, we were able to utilize him to start that program for us and to help us with our manufacturing programs. So we now have a fiber optic technician program where they can get certified as a technician for that.
Yeah, not everybody was able to make it today. But yeah, so Ryan, he just started this fall, right? This past fall? I
Yes.
think?
Yeah.
Yeah. So time gets away from me. Are you guys year 2 or 3?
Nate's on
I'm
year
3.
three.
Year 3.
Yeah.
I'm on
Okay.
year 2.
That's right. Your guys' buildings was up.
Yeah, I was the first in the expansion.
Okay. So you're the old timer and the.
I guess so. 3 years is the old timer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so lots of opportunities. I'm a big fan. Like, my dad was a mechanic, and my grandfather as well. So now they worked on airplanes, so slightly different. But that's kind of how I grew up, like all the way through high school. In fact, that was my evening job. Is they went home and I cleaned the shops, and so I was kind of around that environment. And then, before it was illegal, they sometimes after work, they'd go have a drink. Here's $1 in quarters to go shoot pool. So, all my dad's friends were the welders and all that kind of thing. So I think it's super cool to have it on campus. And I always enjoy talking to you guys. It's fun.
The need for it is incredible. The amount of people that are trying to hire, I speak from my class anyway, the amount of people that are trying to hire the students, we don't even have enough students to get everybody one, as many people that are trying to hire. It's a unique time. I went through trade school in the 90s, and nobody wanted to hire us. Everybody, you don't have any experience, you don't know anything. And now it's exactly the opposite. It's a great opportunity for students right now to get jobs coming straight out of our classes.
Of all the programs that we have, I think it's amazing it's not just amazing, expected. Welding and auto tech seem to be our more popular programs. Everybody that comes through, whenever a parent brings a student in or a high school comes to tour, everybody's asking about welding and auto tech. And,
And
you know,
And HVAC,
And
yeah.
HVAC, yeah.
you know, with 12 welding booths, it's kind of important that we keep the focus on making sure that program goes or grows. And you're actually planning an expansion.
I'm scheduled for an expansion, another 30-foot by 60-foot on my shop with, it'll take a little time, but the intention is to double the capacity of the class. You know, I'll need some help at that point. But yeah, we'll be looking at potentially putting 24 students in the program instead of 12.
Nice. Are you sure it's not just going to be a private, luxurious office for you?
Well, I'm going to need a new office. I mean, come on.
Some
half
Brazilian,
pipe.
Brazilian
Yeah.
cherry.
Yeah, mahogany
Flo-
desk, you know, all that stuff.
Nice high back leather chair, fireplace.
Autotech just started this past semester, and it's already at that stage too. I mean,
So we are, next year, the automotive industry is suffering from a severe lack of skilled technicians. So next year, if a student is accelerating, if a student is passionate about the field, about the industry, and I'm going to throw some gasoline on the fire, not on the student, but on his passion, right?
Yeah, sure.
And
Well, not all of them,
that
maybe a few.
student, them students, this isn't going to be for every student, but the students that are really excelling, I am going, on the second semester, we are going to spend longer days with that student. And we are going to get that student working, and we're going to get them into the field in 5 months, which is unheard of. So these students are not going to, they're going to have to be the ones that are really wanting it and, you know, have the drive to do it. And we'll get them placed in a local dealership. Right now, we got several students that are already working in dealerships. But the problem is, whenever they leave Mac at noon, they go to work, they're getting like 4 hours a day in. And that ties them down and limits them to basically doing very basic minor stuff. So their skill level is not gonna go up like it needs to. So whenever next year at the spring semester break, they're gonna be able to go to work full time on their internships, and they'll be able to work until summer, and then we'll pull them back in for the summer semester, and we'll get in touch with the employers and be like, okay, what do they need to work on? What's their weaknesses? What's their, you know, what's some things that they don't know how to do that we need to get them moving on top of the regular, you know,
Regular
the regular
course, yeah.
coursework.
That's
So,
really cool to get that feedback from real world. Well, and that's one of the things I wanted to touch on too, was the way the programs work, or they used to, is that it was morning classes, right? And then that way they would be free in the afternoon if they were to try to get on somewhere part-time in their field. If that's still the case, I'm guessing, the way the layout is with classes.
So my course is going to be the same. The second semester, the first semester is going to be the same. It'll be till noon. Second semester, the students that are excelling the first 8 weeks can go till, we'll probably go till 3:30, and we'll try to we'll have longer days, but we'll be able to get more stuff covered.
Yeah, so like an accelerated.
Yeah, it'll be an accelerated program. And so in the morning, what it'll look like is there'll be a full load, you know, full class. And next year we're increasing it from 12 to 20 students, because we do have the room. If you ever been to the MACTech automotive program, we got plenty of room. We got plenty of room. This year I got one student, Jackson Sullivan, that is outstanding. And he is gonna go on for his associates next year, and he's gonna hopefully be a work study. I'm hoping we can get that approved with him, so that he can be a work study for 2 reasons. He can help me, but also he's not gonna lose what he's learned, what he's already learned. So anyway, in the morning it'll be more students. In the afternoon it's gonna be less students on the second semester, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, absolutely. And one of the things I came to MAC in 2012, and I came from a 4-year, And one of the things that I really enjoyed about working here was you're free to kind of make things work, or wherever the path is moving, to make those adjustments. You're not locked into a rigid, well, this is the way we've always done it. It's like if you have a good idea and you've got good reasons, it's like go for it, you know? So, I mean, it makes total sense. If you're taking just a handful, ramping them up to get them so that they can work, you know, full time, and then bringing them back in. I mean, I think that's cool, and it makes sense. And it's just the freedom to kind of do what works, or at least try things. That's a great part of a lot of programs here. That's exciting stuff to hear. Like, sometimes, you know, teaching English, there's only so much I could tweak. Every semester I'd tweak little things, but you don't have quite as much flexibility, especially with brand new programs. It's kind of fun, but also a little scary, probably, walking into a blank canvas.
Sure. That's always difficult on a new instructor, but I will say, and I'm pretty sure everyone here would agree, Mac's shown us a lot of trust and faith that we all come in and set up our program. You know, when we ask questions, a lot of times the common answer is, hey, you guys are the industry professionals, you know what's right, you know, get some input from your advisory boards, but we hired you to start a program. So we do have a tremendous amount of flexibility. And I will say, when you first start, you're like, you know, but, you know, you just got to hammer it down and go forward and do what's right for your group of students.
And we talked about equipment earlier. I know we've been fortunate. Was it a DeWalt grant?
Yeah, I got a
that we
DeWalt
got?
grant last year.
I think I was there for unboxing day.
Mm-hmm.
You cracked me up. You're like a pinball, because you just kept bouncing around like,
Yeah.
oh, what do you got? And
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah, it's
oh,
exciting.
reciprocating saw, and you're like playing with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of nice equipment over in the facilities. And I guess we should probably mention the CTE signing day is Thursday, April 10. So if you want to come out and get your picture with Kirby, that's always the highlight.
4 to 7 p.m.
4 to 7 in the Industry and Technology Center, which, if you haven't been on campus, when you come in the main Dixie Cone Drive, it's the huge building on your right. I'm really glad they finally added some entrances,
Yeah.
so you don't have to loop around. So real easy to get in and out. And that facility is used for all kinds of things. But yeah, anytime I have to be over there, I always try to poke my head in and see what's going on without being too annoying, any more so than necessary.
While we're on the subject of new programs, we do have another new Ryan, who started this month, Ryan Bohan. She's starting our new agriculture program. There's currently four degree plans available for agriculture, and we're still in the process of searching for a farm, but she's going to be developing this program from the ground up and revising it as we continue on. There's already 4 classes in the catalog available for fall registration as well.
Great. So fall 25.
Yes.
Ag program coming back. Hopefully fall. I know they were looking in the Fredericktown area, but I don't know if that came through or not.
A lot of changes around that.
Yeah.
As long as it's in the taxing district, I think
Yep.
they have
Working on it.
potential farms kind of spread out throughout the county. I will also mention that Ryan is setting her seat count at 24. Like some of our programs, like my seat count's 12. I believe Nate's is 12 too. Ryan is graciously not really agreed. She said it. She said, I can take 24. So we really feel like she could be close to, I think there's a lot of interest.
A lot of interest.
A lot of interest. It's
Yeah.
hard to tell right now, but if Ryan gets 24, she will start 24 in August of this year, which is amazing.
Yeah.
She needs
exciting.
the support to run whatever facility we acquire, and she's already gauging a lot of local businesses for their input and participation as well. So pretty exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. I know that's been in the works for a while, trying to get some land. And she's not here to maybe speak specifically, but I'm sure there's Animal husbandry is probably part of that, I'm guessing.
Yeah, the 4 different degree plans that are available, there's no certificates available for these plans, but they're all associated applied science degrees. It's agriculture, all agriculture-based, agriculture business, agricultural systems technology, animal science, and farm management are the 4 options
Cool.
for fields of study. So,
So good variety for anybody that,
yes, very similar, but obviously, you know, on the systems side of things or management side of things, you're taking some business classes as well. It's very, very diverse options. In that
well-rounded might be.
regard. Well-rounded,
Yeah.
yes.
Whenever I first saw how our program was going to be laid out, it reminded me of Eric's. You can come in, see Eric. A lot of the students take the same classes at the beginning, but then in Eric's pathways, he has 5 or 6 different ways he can go. That's how
Yeah.
Ryan's is.
Very cool.
I would say with the popularity of these programs, they fill up fast. So for potential students and parents that might be listening to this, if you're thinking about enrolling, I would enroll. If you're serious, you don't want to take a spot from someone that
That
really
wants
wants
it,
it,
yeah.
but I wouldn't hesitate because those spots will fill up.
That's a
Yeah.
great point.
Summer enrollment began on February 18th. We're just started fall enrollment this week. Monday, March 24th was open enrollment began for all currently enrolled students with 30 credit hours or more. Today was the start of enrollment for all currently enrolled students, and on Monday we'll be all enrolling on March 31st, all new and returning students
Yeah, so this is a perfect
for
time.
fall.
Yeah.
For fall.
Yep.
To, especially graduating high school students, or really anybody that's coming up this Monday. Get in there, get your seat.
Yeah, don't drag your feet.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
serious, don't drag your feet.
Right. Talking about being serious, one thing that I have to add, and I feel like this might help a prospective student, in my opinion, the best way to student success in any of these tech programs is attendance. All of us here are patient people. We're okay if you can't change oil the first day, you can't weld a straight bead, can't do AutoCAD, but attendance is paramount here. Of all the students I've worked with, I've had to release a few of them, and it's always because of attendance. It's not because of lack of technical aptitude. So serious people need to understand that we do take attendance. You are expected to be here, and that's probably the best thing you can do for success is just being there.
And it has to be that way
Yep.
because for these programs, the skill you learn one day builds on the next skill that you'll learn the next day. If you're not there, you missed out, and you can't hold the whole program back
Word.
just because you didn't feel like coming in that day because you were playing video games like the night before.
Well, and I think that also illustrates another point, which is don't feel like you have to be an expert. When
No, definitely not.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Even if, you're a beginner, but this is something that you want to pursue. Like you said, you don't have to know how to do things on day one.
Absolutely.
But showing up and being involved,
Yeah.
Communication is
Yeah.
essential. Communication with your teachers, your classmates, your advisors, engaging student support services for tutoring if you're having trouble with certain areas, like we're here to help. So
One of my students, the first class, we require them to change oil and do a multi-point inspection. And the second week they were learning how to do it. And this student now is extremely proficient, but you don't know what you don't know. And the first week or the second week, whenever he was doing oil changes, he didn't know where to put the window sticker for the oil change. He put it on the outside of the window, halfway up, not even in the corner, but halfway up. You just didn't know. You don't know what you don't know until you know it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no bad habits to break for me. Students that have no welding experience or very little welding experience, they don't have any bad habits.
Yeah.
So it's easier to start out right
Yep.
than start out correcting.
Yep.
yeah, that's a really
Absolutely.
good point.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what is it? Measure twice.
Measure twice, cut once. Yeah.
and measure again and cut again and make another trip to
Yeah.
the Lowe's and
And this is the time to make mistakes. I'd much rather have them cut boards wrong with me out of my supply budget than me send them to one of my contractors and, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the time for mistakes, and we fully expect mistakes.
Yeah, so, yeah, if you're thinking about a program, if it's interesting, don't hesitate, and don't feel like, you need to know a bunch of stuff before you step on campus. So, great opportunities to get started in a rewarding field, a variety of fields. So, any parting words of wisdom?
I just want to say, y'all have great radio voices. I got the shaft on that.
That's really why I invited you, is to make everybody
Yeah.
else look good.
WNBC.
Balance it out, right?
WNBC.
Just to clarify, the welding program is advanced multi-process welding technology. Just put that in there.
Yeah,
because-
proper title.
Yes, because we do get a lot of students with articulated credits from other career centers and stuff, and there's a
Gotcha.
bit of a confusion. We don't have an auto collision program yet either, eventually, but that's also an option where there's a bit of confusion between auto tech and auto collision and welding technology and advanced multi-process welding technology.
Gotcha.
Talking about auto collision, if somebody is wanting to go into auto collision, it would benefit them, it would make them more valuable in an auto collision shop if they went through the automotive program.
Sure.
Here.
Good point.
There's no doubt about it. If they know how to do suspension and alignments and stuff like that, airbags, things that they're going to be looking at every day, and you'll be a more valuable employee. A more valuable employee usually is paid better.
Yeah.
Not always, but usually.
Well, more extensive skill set. I'm sure there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah, there is.
So yeah, absolutely.
We're also doing ASE testing certifications out of our testing center now, right?
Yes, all of our students are currently ASE. All of them have at least 2 ASEs now. Tomorrow they'll be taking several more, and hopefully, I don't suspect they're going to have any problems. I really don't. So.
And those tests are available for anyone in the community, not just students at the institution. Correct?
They are.
Yeah.
They are. So you have different levels of ASE testing. You have to have a couple years, 2 years of experience, of actual shop experience before you become fully ASE certified. But these are entry-level exams, same questions pretty much, but there are not as many of them, if that makes sense. So.
Well, and here's the other thing. If you've made it this far, congratulations. Thank you for listening. But you can always go to the website too. And if you can't find the answers you're looking for on the website, there's always an email address. So you can reach out to Adam Martin, Navigator. We talked about tech, but you also mentioned criminal justice. So you can at least get them started in whatever they're looking for, or if you want to email an instructor with specific questions. I think that's one of the nice things too is, we're a campus where you can reach out, talk to the people that you need to talk to. There's not a lot of barriers to entry, so to speak. So, yeah, check the website, send an email, make a phone call. You can hear one of our smooth jazz voices on the other end of your receiver. Unless it's Eric, then it sounds like some sort of dying weasel voice.
Yeah, like a teenager's still going through puberty.
Well, thank you guys again for coming in. It's always a good time. I miss talking to Jason a little bit. And I guess I should mention I want to go with them one of these days, but they've been going to the zoo, I think, 2 or 3 times now.
I got a chance to go with them.
Did
this
you?
year. Yes, it was all behind the scenes,
Facility.
and the penguin facility, and all that. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, so they're doing some really fun things.
They're going to on the next field trip, I believe, is a manufacturer tour pretty soon for a former employer of his. So they're going to get some behind the scenes input,
Yeah.
exposure to the manufacturing side of the things versus maintenance.
Yeah, very cool. So, yeah, it's not just, nose to the grindstone. Like, there's
It's a lot
fun
of
things
A
and
lot of fun stuff going on.
exposure to, real world scenarios. So, well, Eric's itching for a cigar when we get out of here to relax. Thanks again for listening. And like I said, check out the website, reach out, talk to anybody, and don't hesitate. Get yourself enrolled. And maybe we won't wait a year. Talk to you guys again. Maybe we'll try to do it before the fall or mid-fall. See how things are going. But I do thank you guys for coming in again, and we'll talk to you whenever we can.
Thanks for having us.
All right, glad to
Thank you,
do it.
Brandon.